knew that I had to do the 4 hours of community service, I really didn't know if I'd be able to do it because I work 5 days a week. I go to school 3 days a week, and my schedule's crazy. But I thought to myself, well, if I'm gonna do it, I might as well enjoy it. And I love animals. Growing up, I've had many, like, I want to say at least 30 cows, 40 chickens, 10 ducks, turkeys. I was raised on a farm, and I love animals, so I decided to do my service learning at a veterinarian's office with the Bauxite Humane Society, or the Saline County Humane Society. My name is John Bearden, and I'm an Introduction to Communications student, and today I'm going to tell you about my service learning. First thing I'm going to tell you about is what I did at my service learning. Then I'm going to tell you about a principle and a concept connected to my service learning. Finally, I'm going to tell you about how I'm going to improve my community and my communication. I completed my service at the Bauxite Humane Society, but why should you care? The Humane Society, they are wonderful. They take in animals. I've taken in a couple animals there myself, and I've actually adopted a lot there too. They're really caring. They want to see pets go to good homes, and who doesn't want this? I get sad just seeing a dog walking down the road, skin and bones. I want to pick them up every time, but I know I can't. The mission for my organization, according to hssalincounty.org, is to provide a temporary refuge for stray, homeless, and deserted animals, and to provide a good home. Alright, so what I did at the Humane Society was I helped unload the donations, like the bags of dog food. I packed the kits for the spade and neuters and put the used ones in the autoclave, which heated them up and kill all the bacteria so they can reuse it, so they don't have to keep buying new equipment each time they do it. All right, here's a communication principle. There is a communication principle and 2 communication concepts. Yes, with my associated with my service experience. The relevant communication experience includes a relevant communication principle is a communication includes both verbal and nonverbal communication, or verbal messages. The definition, according to the UALR Survival Guide 2018, is all behavior has symbolic potential that includes the words that we speak, as well as the tone and pitch of the nonverbal actions. An example of this is when I was unloading the dog food, there was a 100-pound bag that they wanted me to lift. I did not know it was 100 pounds. So I went to lift it. I threw it over my shoulder. I did not know it was 100 pounds. I fell backwards, and I busted the entire bag of dog food on the ground, and everybody just looked at me. I knew that they didn't have to say a single word because I knew they were disappointed in me, and I was disappointed in myself. The first communication concept is self-monitoring. Definition, according to Adler, Rodman, and Dupre, 2016, is to describe the process of paying close attention to one's behavior and using the observance to shape the way one behaves. So when I noticed that when I was right after all that had happened, I started cleaning it up, and I knew that I wanted them to think that I was very trustworthy. So I worked as hard as I could, and everything they asked me to do, I did that and more. So I would regain their trust and trying to do better. The second communication concept is reflective approval. The definition in the textbook is how we develop an image of ourselves from the way that we think others view us. So right after that, I was completely mad at myself. I thought everybody else thought I was a failure, and that was a low point of that day, but then as the day went on, I was like, hey, this is kind of fun after I got to play with all the chihuahuas and cats, and they have a raccoon there too. I don't know why, but they do. So moving on to where I can improve my communication. Based on my service experience, I can use communications and concepts and ethical applications to improve my communication and my community. But why should you care about improving your community and your communications? Well, your community is the people you live around, the people that make up the area that you're at. So if everybody there is violent, you don't want to live there. Or if it's a hostile environment, you don't want to live there. So you want to make the best out of what you can. So if you can improve something, improve it, because it will later on down the road improve your community. The one communication concept I can use to improve my communication is interpretation. The definition according to the textbook is the perceptual process of tracing meaning to stimuli that has already been selected and organized. I choose this concept because I easily mistake things in conversations. I take things the wrong way sometimes. I interpreted, a person would say one thing, I thought they would mean another. I necessarily don't take things at face value a lot. I usually I'm thinking, oh, there's some other meaning behind that. An ethical implication I can use to improve my communication would be responsibility. The definition according to the Universal Bible Guide 2018 is holding ourselves accountable for our choices and actions and communications of others. I chose this implication based on my service experience because when I dropped that bag of dog food, I was looking for somebody to blame other than myself. So I was like, I thought to myself, why would I want to blame somebody else when I clearly did that? I picked it up and I dropped it. So I hold myself responsible. In conclusion, I told you about my service learning and my experience. First, I told you about my service learning, and then I told you about a principle and two concepts connected with my service learning, and I finally told you about how I can improve my community and my communications. And I completely forgot that I had a slideshow that I can cycle through. Where did I volunteer? There's some pictures of some dogs where as a Google, I didn't think to take pictures. But what did I do? Play with animals, clean the cages, unload donations, make sure animals have food and water. What did I learn? That there's a lot of animals out there that need help, and there needs to be something done about it. And the end.